Alright, let's dive into something that's been making the rounds online. The alleged text between Lil Wayne and Teen Mom star Rachel Beaver. But before we get into the details, let me just say, this story is a perfect example of how the internet can turn a simple DM into a full-blown narrative. Personally, I think what makes this really interesting is the way it blends celebrity culture, social media, and the unpredictability of human interaction. So let's break it down. First off, the hook here is Rachel sliding into Lil Wayne's DMs with a bold message. "Fly me out, I won't say anything like the last one." Now, if you take a step back and think about it, this is a move that's both audacious and kind of calculated. What many people don't realize is that in today's social media-driven world, sliding into a celebrity's DMs isn't just about the message. It's about the potential for attention. From my perspective, Rachel knew exactly what she was doing. She was playing into a narrative that had already been circulating, especially after the whole Janelle and Lil Wayne situation. What this really suggests is that she saw an opportunity to insert herself into a bigger conversation, and she took it. Now Lil Wayne's response is where things get even more intriguing. He asks for her number, and the conversation moves to text. One thing that immediately stands out is the timing. Rachel suggests waiting until after Christmas because she needs to arrange childcare. This detail I find fascinating because it grounds the story in reality. It's not just two celebrities exchanging messages, it's a mom trying to balance her personal life with this unexpected opportunity. What this really highlights is the human side of these interactions. Celebrities, despite their fame, are still navigating the same logistical challenges as the rest of us. The texts continue, with Wayne assuring Rachel she won't have to pay for the trip and Rachel trying to schedule it around her birthday. But here's where things get messy. Rachel claims the communication fizzled after she had an ID issue that prevented her from flying. Personally, I think this is where the story takes a turn from a potential meetup to a lesson in missed connections. What makes this really interesting is the way it reflects how easily plans can fall apart, even when there's mutual interest. It's a reminder that life, even for celebrities, is often dictated by mundane obstacles like expired IDs. Now let's talk about the commentary around this. Rachel later reveals that the whole thing started as a joke during a TikTok live. She was drunk, her viewers encouraged her to text Lil Wayne and she did. What many people don't realize is that this kind of impulsive behavior is becoming increasingly common in the age of social media. From my perspective, it's a reflection of how the lines between public and private interactions are blurring. What this really suggests is that we're all just one DM away from potentially changing our lives. Or at least creating a viral story. Another detail I find fascinating is Lil Wayne's alleged response time. Rachel mentions that it wasn't unusual for him to take a while to respond. If you take a step back and think about it, this is a subtle commentary on the dynamics of celebrity communication. Celebrities are constantly bombarded with messages, and their response times can be unpredictable. What this really implies is that even when someone like Lil Wayne engages, it's often on their terms and timeline. Finally, let's address the elephant in the room. The engagement rumors. Rachel claims she was blindsided when TMZ reported Wayne's engagement, but he later clarified he was single. Personally, I think this adds another layer of complexity to the story. It raises a deeper question about how much we can trust the narratives that emerge from these kinds of interactions. From my perspective, it's a reminder that in the world of celebrity gossip, the truth is often murky and subject to interpretation. So what's the takeaway here? In my opinion, this story is less about a potential romance and more about the ways in which social media is reshaping how we interact with celebrities. It's a fascinating look at the intersection of fame, impulsivity, and the unpredictability of human connections. What makes this really interesting is how it challenges our assumptions about what's real and what's just a product of the internet's imagination. If you take a step back and think about it, this could be anyone's story, just with a celebrity twist. And that, to me, is what makes it so compelling. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below.